What's up, guys? This is Blue, and this is the Hi, How Are You podcast, self-help for the uninitiated, where for 10 to 20 minutes a week, someone even lazier and perhaps even less busy than you tries to tell you that you deserve to treat yourself better, where the two of us hold each other accountable. Accountability buddies. Yeah, I like that. You know, the bad thing about masks is that they cover up my two best features, my nose and my jawline. The good thing about masks is they tend to cover up my worst features, which is actually my face. I think on a previous episode I spoke about how I'm always pushing several balls forward very slowly, but it's happening. Some balls roll forward for days and weeks, months even, while some balls get left behind. I'll glance over my shoulder at those couple of sad balls, but instead of abandoning them like I probably should, I give them a couple of nudges forward, hoping that will be enough to give them a purposeful life. But it's fruitless. Sometimes it's for naught. Did I use that correctly? Naught? Sometimes there is such thing as having too many goals, trying to do too much at once. And even though we think that we're capable of juggling all aspects of our life at once, ultimately, something is going to be neglected. I got reading goals. I got financial goals. I have professional goals. I have creative goals, fitness goals, mental health goals. I want to be well-rounded and improve my quality of life wherever I can, but some days the only energy I can muster up is to check the stats of my websites. And even when it comes to something simple like managing my websites, I have too many projects going on at once. Once upon a time, I used to collect domains and websites like quarters. Half of them were registered for the purpose of starting some online source of income, and the other half was just for funsies like a weed blog and a podcast. A couple of years ago, I KonMari'd those bitches down to 6. 3 to make money, and 3 for hobby purposes. I told myself, Blue, no more new projects. And then I started a radio station, and that is a whole different beast on its own. That's the problem with being a solopreneur. I have to do everything on my own, or outsource whatever I can, which is hard at the beginning when you're still trying to figure out what you're supposed to be doing. So the point is, I have to prioritize. I have to take 15 steps back and say, which of these are going to benefit me the most, and which of these are just costing me time and money? It's important to have a balance of goals. I have them separated into left brain and right brain. My left brain projects are meant to advance me financially, technically, or professionally. They're meant to give me the tools I need to be a sufficient money machine to live the free life that I want. My right brain projects are my hobbies, creative endeavors. My music, my podcast, my radio station. Things that generally don't make me any money, but serve the purpose of making me happy and having some way to channel my creative energy. The back burner hope is that I can have a crossover of both worlds, a creative endeavor that makes me a little money. I know myself, and I know that I can't always be in money mode. It gets stressful. Sometimes I need to be able to create something instead. Something without a deadline, without a purpose. It takes the mind away from frivolous thinking. Energy you need to save for another time. The problem with time is how scarce it is. How it comes and goes without purpose, but has the ability to either be the monkey wrench in your life plans, or the saving grace in your life's oven. I enjoy a lot of hobbies in life, and I've had streaks of consistency over the years, but as a 30-something-year-old, my hobbies have evolved and changed. Priorities have flip-flopped. When you're younger, it feels like you have nothing but time. But as soon as you begin a full life, your time is taken up by all kinds of new responsibilities. And once you have kids and a family, forget about it. Gone are the evenings of partying with your friends on Friday night and taking drugs by your lonesome on the couch every Saturday night. No, now you gotta put the kid to bed beforehand. And you gotta ask your partner if they'd like to go in with you, because you'll be damned if you're gonna pay for their drugs too. Everyone's priorities are different. There are only 24 hours in a day. A third of that time is spent dead ass asleep. A third is working to put food on the table. And a third is probably like me, watching every spin-off of 90 Day Fiancé available while pretending to work on real shit. At the root, I know it's a matter of time management and poor discipline. I get a lot done, but I know I can get much more done if I just focus my efforts. My excuse is that I already spend a lot of time mentally drained, and mindlessly watching TV for an hour or so every weeknight is almost therapeutic. But I could be doing much more. I could be listening to an audiobook or writing a new episode for this podcast. But the point is to be consistent, and you can't do that if you're pushing too many balls forward. So if you feel like this is you, trying to do too much at once, maybe it's time to look at cutting loose some of these goals. So how do you choose what your priorities are? Well, you might think that this is simple. You got family, right? You have to make money so they can eat, so you can live with a roof over your head. Duh. These are your priorities. Alright, sounds simple enough. But if you know that to be true, why do we instead choose to focus on less important tasks? I can put in a little more time into my side business, but instead, let me watch this next episode of Married at First Sight. I can stress out about the overdue rent on the 2nd of the month, instead of thinking about it on the 20th of last month when I first realized that I was probably going to be behind. A lot of times we take our personal circumstances for granted. We get comfortable. We notice things that need our attention, but we ignore them. Push it back another day and another, maybe a few more for good measure. But when that leaky faucet becomes a full-blown pipe burst that destroys your wall, you kick yourself over all the extra work we ended up having to do under the pressure of time. It's almost rarely worth it to work under pressure. We all love to say we work better that way, but that's only to justify our habit of procrastinating. We convince ourselves that whatever we're doing instead is somehow more important in that moment that we can say, I'll worry about this late electricity bill later, instead of comprehending that, fuck, this shit is important now and can be done while I'm not under the immense amount of stress that comes from trying to work in a hot-ass house with no air conditioner. Don't be selfish like me. I sometimes wake up on my day off and immediately decide that I'm going to binge watch Spike Lee movies for the first time in my life, followed by some Red Fox stand-up. I tell myself that I deserve it, but that's because I ain't got no kids and I live in a van down by the river. But right now, especially right now that everyone is sleeping, you need to be making moves. Everyone is asleep right now. Pay attention. See how much urgency is in their voices and actions of your coworkers, your friends, the people who pay you. How many times do you have to ask someone for the same thing? How many times do you find yourself waiting around for someone else? Because they're all sleeping. After a while, you start to realize that everyone's just a background character in your life. Most people that you spend your energy on are not helping propel your own storyline for you, so why are you wasting your time on them? What's important to you? Who is important to you? Stop letting yourself get distracted by consumption, by emotions, by complacency in our own lives. Take care of your priorities. The actions that are going to put you ahead of everyone else, so when it comes down to, worldwide pandemics, we're not drowning, unprepared, mentally frazzled, financially ruined, and about to throw ourselves off the closest bridge. I hope you decide today that you're going to do something productive. Like I decided to finally work on this stupid episode. Don't procrastinate anymore. Man, I always feel like a hypocrite when I tell everyone else to do what I don't. But we all know that my whole mantra has been to do as I say, not as I do. Which is why I would be an excellent deadbeat mom, confusing the hell out of my child who will never learn how to act in public, thanks to me. But like every deadbeat parent, let me serve as a reminder of how not to act, because I'm a goddamn mess and I'm never gonna get married with this attitude, as my coworker loves to tell me. What are my priorities, you might ask? Well, my priorities are me, obviously. Stacking my cash, staying mentally stable, and sober, might I add. Paying debts, remaining the weight of 2 checked airline luggage bags. My 2-year plan is to kill all of my debt, or most of it. Revolving debt should be gone for sure. And after that, my 5-year plan is to be a full-time digital nomad. So hopefully you guys stick around long enough to get through that journey with me, because the more I learn, the more you learn. I want to put all of you on to whatever it is that's making my life exponentially better, because if you're here, riding with me, you're good in my book. Keep prioritizing yourself and your day ones, and I promise it pays off. Time is part of the recipe. Never forget that.